Back to life. Back to
Back to
reality.
reality. They should love that song.
Last week I said, hey, sometimes it's good to be wrong, but sometimes it's bad to be right. And last week we said that the Bengals offense, the Panthers would have no answer for the Bengals offense, and that was the story of the game today. Is the Carolina Panthers end up losing 34-24 to the Cincinnati Bengals in the Battle of Queen Cities. In a game they should have won. And we'll talk about why they should have won that. Because they didn't look all that bad. They didn't look great, but some questionable situational play calling. Just a lot of you can tell they still don't have the chemistry of a team that knows how to win, right? They don't really know how to overcome any adversity and win. So yeah, Jamal, I don't know about you, but I hate this team with every fiber of my being. And I actually hated them last week when they won because I knew that
They're gonna let you down. They're gonna let you down.
Right,
This
yeah,
week.
it was just it was a smoke screen. Like I was happy they won, but especially as the week went on, and there was this narrative in the media and with fans that okay, hey, see, we're not as bad as we thought. It's just that Bryce Young was bad.
All we needed was the quarterback.
We might be. I even saw an article on Clutch Sports talking about Panthers being possible playoff contenders.
Okay, see.
No, we beat the Raiders. They're bad. The Raiders are bad, right?
Yeah.
And admittedly, the Panthers are a much better team with Andy Dalton at the helm than Bryce Young, but they're still a bad team. There's still like a lot of holes, and those came to haunt us today against the Cincinnati Bengals. Your thoughts on today's game and the Carolina Panthers as a whole?
Ron Rivera. Now, y'all might be saying, why the hell are you saying Ron Rivera? I got two more words. Missed opportunities. If you look at the stats on this game, which we'll get to in a minute, this game was very evenly played. I mean, almost, it's scary how evenly played this game was statistically.
Mm-hmm.
The difference in this game was missed opportunities. Jonathan Mingo, you're dropping passes. Xavier Legette, you're dropping passes. Everybody, every receiver on our end dropped a pass. Nick Scott, Scott doesn't make the tackle on the Bengals running back. They go in to score. We don't score on our own goal line, which I don't know what the hell Dave Canales was thinking with that play calling in the red zone that series. Somebody please explain that to me. That's the ball game. There's really no other deep analysis I can offer except all of the. And then the punter who a Hecker throws a great ball to some no-name guy we've never heard of, and he doesn't make the catch. That defined the entire game for the Panthers. Missed opportunity after missed opportunity. And what do I always say, Kaz? I said it in the chat, and I said every time which is quite often with both of these damn teams in Charlotte. But what do I say, man? Bad teams find ways to lose football games, even when it's quote unquote good on paper. Bad teams find ways to lose games, and that summed it up for the day with the Panthers. There's really no other analysis I can offer except every missed opportunity did not go the Panthers' way, and that's it.
Yeah, absolutely. If the Panthers score a touchdown on their first drive, in which they were fourth in right, which I think it was a great call to go for, but the play call was bad.
Right.
I mean, I just feel like, in fact, I'm one of those people. I feel like you should go for it more often than not on fourth down, but your play calling has to be different. You cannot just be like, especially when you got stuffed the previous two plays running the ball, you got to be like, okay, that's what the defense is expecting. Let's do something different to get 1 yard. And you don't do that. And I don't think Dave Canales. I think he's going to be a solid coach for the Carolina Panthers going forward. He's not creative enough offensively. I just don't see it in the play calling, and that was one of the examples. But if the Panthers score there, we could be talking about a win. I mean, that's 7 points.
It says no complexion of the game,
and the Panthers are playing with the lead at that point. But they don't get the touchdown. They get a 3-and-out on Cincinnati. They get the ball back, but then they give it right back on 3-and-out. And Cincinnati's able to score first to end the first half, and the Panthers never caught up. Cincinnati just kept the lead after that. Also, considering Cincinnati got the ball back at the beginning of the second half and was able to put a second score up on us, and that was really the story of the game. It's weird.
Kaiser, real quick, God has a sense of humor. You know why? Because who got that stop on the goal line? Chris Jenkins Jr.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. For those who don't know, Chris Jenkins' son was the main cog in that defense. Austin Corbett, God bless you, because Chris Jenkins got the best of Corbett
in the first half. Lineman, but I mean, he got that. That was, and that's, you can't call plays in those situations in which if one person doesn't win their one-on-one, the play ends. Right.
Right.
You can't,
because it's a domino effect. You know what I mean? Like even on that play, it caused Robert Hunt some confusion because Chris Jenkins basically broke down the whole middle of the offensive line. So now Robert Hunt doesn't know who to block. So the play is blown up and dead at that point.
Exactly. So, I mean, I always wonder why on fourth one you don't see more. First of all, you don't see more quarterback bootlegs. You don't see more jet sweeps. You don't see, you don't see any creativity. It's like, okay, let's just run the ball right at the line of scrimmage.
What's funny is the Bengals had their own goal line play. What do? They spread it out. They go shotguns, three wide, and just run the ball in. I mean, be somewhat creative. Don't be so predictable.
Now, I'm not going to blame Deontay Johnson for those drops. I do, although I feel like those are catches you got to make in the NFL level. Those were tough catches. Defenders were in position, and Dalton be slinging that thing. He don't give a damn, for better or for worse. I don't know if that's good for the Panthers or not. And that's the main difference between him and Bryce Young, is that we said this last week, Bryce is like, ooh, maybe I shouldn't throw that. And he don't care. He's like, I'm going to sling it. Yeah. And I think, sometimes it's a tough throwing a catch. Deontay Johnson had a great touchdown catch off a dart that Andy Dalton threw, but, Johnson had to make a very quick adjustment to make that catch. It was a great catch, though, and too little, too late. Yeah, I do want to talk about these flags on that drive. NFL refs don't know what they're doing. I've always maintained NBA refs are just corrupt, but NFL refs, they just don't know.
They're just bad.
Right. They're just bad. The rules are weird.
Not consistent. Not consistent.
There's no way that was a pass interference on JC. I don't understand.
Which one? The one
on JC Horn. Yeah. I don't understand. The one on Mike Jackson, I don't understand. Mike Pereira's like, well, that's a good. No, I don't understand. Like, that doesn't make any sense. You can tell the commentators are even kind of like, I don't know about that.
Yeah, I don't know about that one, Mike.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, you notice they didn't call Mike for that second one with JC. Like they didn't go back to Mike Pereira on that one.
Mingo does have to get better, but I do think, last season he just didn't get a lot of touches. And I think that this season, or at least I'll say with these two games with Andy Dalton, he's getting a lot more targets.
Right.
So he has to be ready. I don't think these guys are necessarily ready. I think they're so used to running around, running routes, not getting open, not being open, and thus the ball not getting past them. Andy Dalton gonna throw it to you whether you open or not.
Right.
So you gotta be ready. I don't think Mingo is ready. And I will say, I don't like the plays they're calling for him. Why? I don't like running Jonathan Mingo on these little smoke and hitch routes and having him have to be a ball carrier and get RAC.
It's not even what we drafted him for. You
That's
know
not
what
what
I
we
mean?
drafted him for. Yeah. I don't. I'm just iffy on Canales' offensive play calling. I think he's doing all the right things as a coach. The situational play calling, I just don't think is very good.
Same.
It's just
So the pushback that we're going to get is, well, they scored 24 points. Oh, well, hey, fine, man. The play calling is inconsistent, and again, the key word there is situational. That is the key word right there. You understand what I'm saying?
right.
Not necessarily in totality, but the situational play calling left a lot to be desired. I totally agree with you.
Yeah, I would. The thing is, though, I don't think that that's gonna ever change in Canales' tenure here. He's always going to be the play caller, and either
Right.
he's got to get better and more creative, or I just don't know what he's got to learn. But calling plays is not something he should have to learn. He was an
Right.
offensive coordinator
Right.
before he came here. The other aspects of the game, like when to call a timeout, or how about you don't get a damn delay of game when you're about to, there's just stuff like that. He's got to learn that stuff. That's rookie stuff. I'm gonna let him slide that. But the play calling, I don't know. It's too vanilla for me.
I agree.
It just is. And
what I worry about going forward is the quote unquote tape catching up to Andy Dalton and the offense. You know what I mean? Because of that play calling. So I mean, the last 2 weeks, man. I mean, we're offensively we look fine the last 2 weeks, but who's to say going forward, man, that won't catch up to us. So maybe there's an adjustment to be made there.
But I think the bigger issue today, because I think the offense played okay. I'm not gonna. A lot of people they scored 24 points and they played okay. Okay,
but they did play well enough to win the game, and I don't think it was what cost us the game.
No,
I don't.
The offense is not what cost us the game, and I think offensively the bigger issue is the play calling as opposed to the execution. But the defense, both play calling and execution, was atrocious.
Yeah,
it was just absolutely terrible on all levels.
Yeah. This is like Avero's worst game in my opinion.
Yeah.
I
mean, okay, I get it. You're scared of Jamar Chase, which is something I hate. Like, don't be scared of a player. First of all, you scheme to take that player out of the equation.
Right.
They didn't do that. They schemed to not get beat by that. Right. Yeah. They drop back in these soft zones, like 3 to 5 yards off the receiver, hoping that the DBs would come up and make the tackle, play the receiver, and not have an opportunity to play the ball. We ended up giving up a damn touchdown to Jamar Chase anyway, doing that. Because the guys came up, and Jamar Chase is a big dude. You're just not going to make the tackle. We're not a good tackling team anyway. They miss the tackles. He trots into the end zone. So I don't – Higgins, if there was not a zone this man did not like. If there was a hole in the zone, he was going to sit right. He was going to sit right there, and Burrow's going to deliver him the ball every single time. And then Horn or Mike Jackson will come up and make the tackle. But, I mean, he's already got 6 to 8 yards. That was the story of the game.
Yeah, and another concern, other than like the soft zone defense we played, was the pass rush, man. Like second half was a little better than the first half, but for the most part, for most of the game, that pass rush was non-existent, man. And there's no way. I mean, when I say no way, there is a 0% chance of you beating a quarterback like Joe Burrow playing soft zone and no pass rush. That just theoretically doesn't make any sense at all. And I didn't, and Kazi, you can, or anybody can correct me on this if I'm wrong, but I didn't notice a lot of heat being brung. I didn't notice a lot of blitzes being sent Burrow's way today, man. So that's just the formula for disaster, man.
I know we had injuries, but Joe Burrow is not Cam Newton out there. This man was like dodging dudes in the backfield, rolling out, throwing downfield 3 or 4 times. There was 2 particular monster plays. There was a monster third down in the fourth quarter in which the Panthers could have gotten the ball back.
Which when we actually did get a pass rush, we don't finish it.
Yeah. Clowney is like right there, and Joe Burrow does his Patrick Mahomes impression and gets a first down on a check down.
Again, missed opportunity. Another missed opportunity there. Get these dudes off the field on third down, and we didn't do that when we really needed to do that.
Yes, soft zone. So here's the thing: if you're gonna play a soft zone, you got to get to the quarterback. You cannot play a soft zone if you know you don't have a pass rush. If you're like, okay, we don't have the talent up front because Derek Brown is out, Shy Tuttle is injured. We just don't have the guys to get to the quarterback. Well, then you can't play a soft zone. You cannot. You got to man up. You got to man up and then take your chances there. But we saw what happened. You play a zone and then you give the quarterback all the time in the world to throw. And to be fair, it's not like Burrow had like a monster game or anything, but it was 22 for 31, right? No real pressure. He averaged 7.5 yards per attempt.
And let me cut you off real quick. If you look at that on paper, you would say that's a win, right? Right. If you hold Joe Burrow to those numbers, you would think, man, we did a great job.
But I mean, 22 for 31 is 70%. You can't if you give any NFL quarterback 70% completion percentage. I mean, you cannot do that. You have to, and if you have deficiencies, and this is what coordinators are supposed to do. They say, okay, we're weak in these areas, so I need to call plays and have a scheme that shores up those weaknesses or capitalizes on our strengths. Whatever Avero's doing, it does neither of those things, in my opinion. He's just calling plays, like very base plays, and hoping that our guys make the play. Every once in a while, he'll call a blitz, but it's not like there were 2 times the Panthers rushed 5, which in my opinion is not enough. You got to take a chance and, send a 6th guy out there. And we still didn't get to the quarterback. The pocket even collapsed, but Joe Burrow was able to escape and make good plays. I just agree. Avera is vanilla. I got to see more from the defense. I just feel like you got to take chances with this defense because they're not very good, right?
Right.
If you try and do bend don't break with these guys, especially now that Shaq Thompson and Josie Jewell are
presumably out for God knows how long, right?
Yeah, I mean Shaq Thompson might come back. Jewell, I don't know. I mean,
and this is on top of Derek Brown already being out, by the way. So yeah,
and thank God J.C. Horn's,
knock on wood,
upright, but who knows with him either.
Knock on wood.
He's our only guy. Yes, James Pierce Jr. We might need James Pierce or Travis Hunter. I'll take either of those guys right now.
I'll take either one of them.
Either of those guys makes the Panthers instantly a better team.
Yep. Agreed.
Yeah, with the amount of points we put, like I said, the offense looks like a competent NFL offense. I think last week people got excited because we put up 40 points. Was it 40, 36? I don't know. It was a lot of points they put up, right?
Right.
People got excited. But we forgot that the Raiders are bad. So, coming back against the Bengals, the question was going to be, could our offense keep up with the Bengals offense? Because we said this on the show last week. We didn't think it would be any question that the Bengals were going to be able to score on our defense.
Right.
And I don't think our offense, is quite good enough to have shootouts with like the Cincinnati Bengals. We don't have Joe Burrow. We don't have Jamar Chase.
What which makes it more important that you don't have the drops, you don't have the stupid penalties, you don't have the missed scoring opportunities. You get what I'm saying? So
Right.
like when you have a team that can score at every chance they get, you better capitalize on your opportunities and not basically give them away, which is what the Panthers did today.
Yeah, absolutely. I just the defense is it's really the story of this season. I know that it will always be
Bryce
Bryce
Young,
Young and Andy
right?
Dalton in the offense, but it's not. It's really it's been the defense since week one. I remind everyone, game against the Saints, Bryce Young hadn't even stepped on the field, and the Saints were up 7-0 in the first minute of the game. It was like there's a problem with the defense. So, and I think the reason the offense played so well last week was because the defense. Gardner Minshew is not very good. The Raiders' offense is not very good. The defense went out, was able to stop the run, was able to make Gardner Minshew look, pedestrian.
Right.
And so the offense was able to, they were able to score, and then that put the Raiders on their heels. We weren't able to do that today, and that was.
Now, speaking of that Raiders game, so the end of that Raiders game was kind of a precursor to today. And what do I mean by that? Because if anybody remembers at the end of that Raiders game, we gave up a lot of stuff, man. And when I say gave up, specifically in the passing game, now people might say, oh, man, it's inconsequential. Those are garbage time points. But our starters are still out there. I don't want to hear it, man. We're playing soft zone. Because and in that situation, I understand, obviously, because we're obviously going to win that game and it's garbage time. But at the same time, it still gave me pause. Even in garbage time, it still gave me pause. Like, okay, if the Raiders are doing this to us, with our starters still out there, what are the Bengals going to do next week? Which, you know what I mean?
I still think it's play calling. I know it's got to be tough for Evero. He doesn't have a lot of talent, and he's got injuries. But, I mean, when you see an opponent continuously exploit the same thing over and over, I want to see something different.
Well, you want to make an adjustment.
Right. If I see T. Higgins sit in a damn hole between two zones one more time, I'm going to go crazy. And I know Evero's seeing that. If I can see it, he can see it, right? Yep. So, surely – I'm thinking, well, all right, he's got to come up with something different. And we didn't see anything different. We saw zone coverage, no pass rush. That was you cannot win games in NFL with soft zone coverage and no pass rush. You just cannot. Yeah. And yes, I'm probably gonna, Jim. I'm still gonna pick the other team to automatically win until the Panthers show me. They gotta show me they could beat a team that's better than them. Right. And, the Raiders are not really better than the Panthers. I know we picked the Raiders to win, but we thought the Panthers were that bad. Like, damn, the Panthers are just that bad.
Well, to be fair, at the time, they were that bad.
They were. And I think that if Bryce Young had played against the Raiders, we would have lost that game.
Yeah, absolutely.
But against the Bears, I don't know. I think they can beat the Bears, and I might pick them to win. But I need them to win, one of these, like this game. If they had won this game, I might have been like, okay, Panthers might got something here. All right, we're gonna win more than 3 games this season. But they didn't win this game because the Bengals are the better team, even though they were 0-3. The Bengals just have more talent, and it showed up today.
Yeah, no doubt, man.
Who's your offensive MVP?
Offensive MVP to me goes to Mr. Chuba Hubbard, man. Mr. Steady, just he's been the one steady guy we've had all season. Today, 18 for 104, 5.8 per carry, man. I definitely don't fault him at all for that goal line stand. That to me, that totally wasn't his fault. His coach put him in the worst position ever. So, with all that being said, man, I go Chuba Hubbard offensive MVP today, man. Yep, totally agree.
I did think that I liked what I saw from Xavier Legette. I think he's going to be the guy next season.
Same. Look, as much as I hated the drops today, man, I think the future is super bright for Leggett, man. I think we really got one with him. I really do.
Yeah, and I think a veteran like Andy Dalton delivering him the ball does a lot for his development. Now I'm gonna be fair. Some of those passes, Andy, like you can get the ball up a little more. You don't have to stick it in the dirt.
You don't have to stick it in the dirt all the time. Like
All the time,
yeah,
bro.
yeah.
And he had a jump pass. He had like 2 Bryce Young jump passes. It's like, yo, what's up with the jump pass? Maybe that's something. Right. I don't know. Maybe I don't know.
Right.
Also, the offensive line is still garbage, guys. Okay. I know last week, the offensive line was actually pretty good. And we said on the show, no, the offensive line is not good. Andy Dalton's just a vet. He knows how to get rid of the ball, right? And this week, I think the offensive line took a step back, or at least Ike Ekwonu from pass protection. They look great in the run, obviously.
And Austin Corbett. To me, 2 guys really didn't play that well, in my opinion. Now that's Austin Corbett and Ike Ekwonu, man. I just saw like Hendrickson went out with an injury in the second half, but that first half, man, he was just getting by Ike anytime he wanted to. And luckily, like you said, Dalton knew how to kind of escape it. But except that one play where, Hendrickson hit Dalton's arm and it caused the interception. But other than that, man, he was getting by Ike anytime he wanted to, man. And, I didn't like what I saw from Ike or Austin Corbett today.
Yeah. Now, Andy Dalton did not get sacked, but he was hit twice and had 8 pressures against him. Meanwhile, Joe Burrow had 4 pressures against him, did not get hit, and was not sacked.
And turned into Cam Newton all of a sudden.
Yeah, I was dog.
Look, man, the only other play that pissed me off more than that play was everybody on the defense missing the tackle against Jamar Chase when he had the 60-yard touchdown. Like, just what the hell was that, y'all? Like, you didn't even look like you were in the NFL tackling like that.
Also, the interception that Dalton threw, that was on the offensive line. That was on Ekwonu.
Yeah, it was on Ike. Yeah, it was on Ike.
Let the guy get past him, he smacks him. We're lucky it wasn't a fumble, but then it would have counted as a sack as well. But it ended up just being an interception.
Yeah.
And actually, that was a bad interception because the field was shortened and Cincinnati was able to score. Let me ask you, what did you think of Dave Canales? Took a lot of gambles. Yeah. Going forward on 4th in the first quarter, the fake punt, going forward on 4th again at the 50. Is this what you want to see? Like, do you want to see Riverboat Ron come back?
I want to see execution. I want to see it executed better. I definitely would say that. I don't mind it. I think any fan, most fans actually would be like, yeah, fans love when coaches go for it because it shows that the coach is not conservative, which is what, even though Ron Rivera grew to be that, let's not forget he was raked over the coals for being a conservative coach. So now we have Dave Canales, who appears to be the opposite. I think any fan would be like, that's a breath of fresh air. I don't mind it, but make sure your team is good enough to execute it before we start, before we start gambling on every 4th down. I'll say that much.
Yeah, I wasn't, I thought the 4th down on 4th and goal, and as well as the 4th down call at the 50. I thought those were good calls. The play calls themselves were, even the 4th and 2 they converted in midfield was kind of iffy. Deontay Johnson almost dropped it, but those are not the fake punt. I don't know. The problem is that we know Johnny Hekker can make that pass, right?
Yeah, but we don't know who was the guy that was supposed to catch the ball. Who is he?
Right. Yeah, I don't even know who that guy was. So, and then I think maybe Canales didn't have enough faith in the defense, and that's why he did it. Because you know Hekker can put it. He could have flipped the field. That's how good Johnny Hekker is as a punter. So why not flip the field? Why not make the Bengals go long?
Right.
Instead of risking them having a super short field and scoring, which is exactly what happened. They only scored 3, which there's the irony. You didn't trust your defense, so you go for it, and they hold the Bengals to 3 on a short field instead of giving up the touchdown. Maybe you should have trusted your defense. I don't know. I didn't trust the defense. So it's hard to fault that call there. And I don't remember if that happened after the Shaq Thompson and Josie Jewell injuries or before. If somebody in the chat can let me know. So
yeah.
Yeah, we're just a few plays from winning today. The coaching and QB play is far better than seeing anything here. Yeah, I agree with that, but the Bengals were 0-3, right?
Right.
And although the Bengals should not be 0-3, they have more talent than the Carolina Panthers, and it's good to see. Man, they were able to really go blow for blow with the Bengals.
Yeah.
And be a few plays away from being a much more talented team. But there was a reason the Bengals are 0-3 to start the season off. And I will never, ever be a fan of moral victories. A loss is a loss.
No, I'm not. Not this one.
Loss is a loss. And you lost because you did, because you're not a very good team. That's why the Panthers lost. You said it in the chat. When we were watching the game. Bad teams find a way to lose. The Panthers found a way to lose a winnable game. Yep. And that was
and there's no better definition of a bad team.
Right. There are a lot of reasons why. Some of it was execution, some of it was coaching, play calling, whatnot. I do think, though, there is potential for all of that to gel. Like, all of the stuff that happened today was fixable. Right?
Yeah.
If Pinellas gets his game sense better, play calling evolves. Surely Leggett and Mingo are going to get better. You just think your team's going to get better. We're going to get, especially in the draft, we're going to get better defensive players. I do think that there is something to be, I'm not going to say excited, but something to look forward to with the Carolina Panthers. I think we can get back to being at least an average NFL team. Right.
Average watchable NFL team. Yeah.
Right. Like, I like as long as we get back to that, then we'll be fine. I don't think we'll get back to the Cam Newton, Luke Kuechly era.
Maybe ever.
If ever, but certainly not in the net. I mean, unless we find like a franchise quarterback, right? So at the really all I can hope for is that like the Panthers are competitive in the division. Now, like I said, if they had won today, I'd be like, okay, yeah, because then actually if they win today, everyone in the division is 2-2 except for Tampa, who leads the division outright. But I mean, we're tied with the Saints and the Falcons at that point. It's like anything can happen, but we didn't win. We're 1-3 now, and the best thing for the Panthers to do, though, is
don't say it, man.
What I'm gonna say? I'll just say we need a top 5 pick, okay? In the top 5, there are a lot of players that can immediately come in and impact the Carolina Panthers. Like Travis Hunter's probably going to be a top 3 pick. James Pierce Jr. is probably going to be a top 3 pick. I'd like to have one of those guys, but there are a lot of guys that we can get, and so this is our franchise QB 2026 draft. So we got to tank one more season
to get who?
Nico Lama-Leva.
Nah. If you're gonna take one more year, you might as well tank for Arch Manning if you're gonna get anybody. In my opinion, but
we're not gonna be bad enough to get Arch Manning, and they probably won't even let him come play for us.
Yeah, I'm sure his grandfather will come on TV or something and hate on us, but whatever. We're jumping way ahead. Yeah.
Good point. Jonathan Brooks. We get to see what Jonathan Brooks does next week. DJ Wanham comes back next week.
I think DJ Wanham coming back could be big. Could be. I want to be very careful about how I say that, man. But he'll be a welcome addition on that defensive line, man. Who we've been saying it all show, just didn't get enough pressure on Burrow today. So interested to see how DJ Wanham could help next week. Looking forward to
All
it.
right. So Willie brings a good point here about Frank Reich. But let's say Andy Dalton started last season, because there were a lot of people that feel like let Bryce, a young kid, sit for a season and learn behind Andy Dalton.
I'm going to answer this question really quickly, but go ahead.
I mean, the Panthers would be better, right? Frank Reich.
Right.
Is it really Frank's fault? Because I want to circle back to a point that Rex Ryan made, after the Panthers beat the Raiders. And everyone really wanted the media to eat crow, because everyone was saying that it wasn't Bryce's fault. But he did bring up a good point. If your job is to come in and make this quarterback better, and you don't do that, did you really do that? Then you fail, right?
Right. Then you fail. Yes.
The Panthers won, and some people, the job of the coach is to win games, and I agree with that. And so, if you win games, but you fail to develop Bryce Young, what does that say about you? Here's the thing. Frank Reich, I think, came here to develop Bryce Young with the understanding that they weren't going to win games. Right? This is a bad team. I've got to develop this guy, and we've got to weather the storm of, not winning games. But that didn't happen. And he got fired midway through the season. Yeah. Was it really Frank Reich's fault?
So I'm not going to directly answer that question. Here's what I'm going to say, man. Here's what we know: the NFL is not a fair league. The NFL stands for not for long. Okay. It wasn't necessarily fair, the position Frank Reich was put into. You understand what I'm saying? The narrative on Frank Reich before he got here was, he never won without an established good quarterback. Well, you could argue that, hey, did Frank Reich have something to do with those quarterbacks being good? You could make that argument. But in this case with the Carolina Panthers, you at the time, you had a completely unproven rookie quarterback. You had a completely unproven offensive line. You had so many question marks with ownership and the team and the state of the franchise and everything going against Frank Reich. In hindsight, if you look at it, no, it's not Frank Reich's fault. It's absolutely not his fault in hindsight. And look, man, I'll even openly admit this to y'all, man. Like, and I say we, a lot of people, we blame Frank Reich for the mess that happened, when he was the coach. And in hindsight, if you look at it, I have to second guess whether it was or not. But to answer your question, man, like I said, the NFL is not fair. But they don't care about fair. Fair only happens at the state fair. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah. You get the job done or you don't. And he had to fall on the sword like most people do in this league. It's that simple.
This is an interesting point. And I thought this, but I don't know what to say about this. But Bryce played better last year. He's regressed under Canales. I think that's very telling. I think it's very telling. We said it last week. Dave Canales is not a creative offensive coordinator, and his scheme does not work with Bryce Young, and he doesn't know how to scheme for Bryce Young. He can scheme for Andy Dalton because Andy Dalton is a prototypical NFL drop back pocket passer.
Yep. Right.
And that's what Canales had in Tampa with Baker Mayfield, right? So it's gonna irk me when Bryce Young gets traded, which will that's gonna happen. I just think it's going to happen. It might not happen this season, but I don't think Bryce Young is going to be like a starter for the Carolina Panthers. But he's going to go elsewhere, and he's going to have some success. And every time I see, like, Sam Darnold look like y'all play Madden. So what happens when you beat a team and then in the fourth quarter, what does a quarterback do?
Go nuts. Doesn't matter who the quarterback is.
Go crazy. They call it
every quarterback turns into Tom Brady in the fourth quarter on that.
Robo QB factor, right? That's what Sam Darnold looks like in Minnesota. Now, granted, he has way more weapons there than he did here, but at the same time, remember when Sam Darnold had Christian McCaffrey, it was like, yo, who is Sam Darnold? That man led the league in touchdown passes, yards, and rushing touchdowns for 4 weeks.
The first
As
3
a
weeks.
Carolina Panther, right?
Right.
It was wild, right? And then so he had some injuries and we moved on. And now watching him in Minnesota, it's like, oh my God, we had this guy. Same with Baker Mayfield in Tampa. It's like, oh, we had this guy, and I just know Bryce Young goes somewhere else and has a little bit of success. We're gonna be like, oh, we had this guy.
Right.
I'm tired of we had this guy. I don't know. We'll see. If Dave Canales wins games, if the Panthers win games, then we won't even have this conversation. All is forgiven. So,
do we have a defensive MVP today? Do we even have one?
My defensive MVP is either J.C. Horn or Xavier Woods. Both those guys were really good in coverage. Both had defended passes. Woods had the interception, and being safety, he had more tackles. But J.C. Horn had 7 solo tackles. Now, a lot of that was because the Panthers were playing soft zone. So, Higgins would make the catch, and Horn comes up and make the tackle. But making tackles is important. He had 7 solo tackles and a pass defended. And they never really went over the top on Horn. Xavier Woods had the pick. One of those is going to be my defensive MVP. So,
to me, I'm gonna say this again, man. It's always a bad sign when your secondary leads your team in tackles. It's never a good thing to me when you're secondary. However, it is necessary. And with that being said, I would probably go with Xavier Woods. And I'm strictly basing it off the numbers. I'm not even saying that he had any more of an impact than J.C. Horn did, but just by the numbers, he was better today. He did have the interception, which that obviously a defense always wants to get takeaways. So I'll go Xavier Woods today, defensive MVP.
All right, so next week, the Carolina Panthers play the Chicago Bears in the Windy City.
Mm-hmm.
Bears coming off a win today. The matchup predictor, ESPN, says the Bears have a 62% chance of winning. I don't know
about that.
Chicago is 3.5-point favorites. That's just the home spread. That line obviously is going to change throughout the week, but I don't know. How do you see that game?
I can't believe I'm saying this, man, and I know I'm going to regret it. I have this sinking feeling that I'm going to regret what I'm about to say. I'm actually going to pick the Carolina Panthers to win this game next week.
Me too. Me too. Oh my God, we're such gluttons for punishment.
I'm going to pick the Carolina Panthers to win this game, and I'm going to say we win the game 27-8-20. I go 27-20. Panthers win next week. I think Caleb gives us a couple. I think the Bears turn the ball over. I think the Bears make the same kind of similar mistakes we made today, and I think that'll be the difference next week.
I'm gonna see your win and raise you a blowout. I think the Panthers win like they won against the Raiders.
Okay.
Only because I do think Chicago's going to turn the ball over, and I think if you give Andy Dalton and his receivers that kind of runway, they can run away with the game. They weren't able to do that today because they were playing from behind all the time. But I think playing ahead, you get Chuba started. I think they're gonna blow them out. Now, Chris makes a good point. Too many injuries on defense. The problem is that the Panthers' offense, the Bears' offense is not really that great with Caleb Williams this season, right? Someone earlier said the DJ Moore revenge game. I think he already had his revenge game on us last season, but I think Horn can stay with DJ Moore enough to make it so where Caleb Williams won't be able to deliver him the ball on time. Caleb Williams for the season is 70 for 118, 630 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 4 picks.
Wow.
I don't think the Panthers defense is very good, but I don't think he's going to come out and be Tom Brady against J.C. Horn, Xavier Woods, and Mike Jackson. I just don't see it. I just don't see it. I'm gonna pick the Panthers in a blowout. Maybe not a huge blowout. I'm gonna say like 34-14.
Okay, I can take that. I can see that.
Yeah.
Gotta hope I'm not wrong next week.
Now Bears will run the ball. That's true, but I don't think you can beat the Panthers just by running the ball.
Right.
The Raiders tried that and it didn't work. At some point they had to pass the ball.
I think you beat the Panthers by spreading them out. Kind of throwing the ball downfield. Like the Bengals did today. That's how you beat the Panthers. And I'm not so confident that the Bears can do that, quite honestly. So,
but having said that, it wouldn't surprise me if the Bears won.
it never would be. Absolutely.
I mean, first of all, it's a road game. It's just Caleb Williams is the factor here. If they had Justin Fields still, I would not pick the Panthers to win this game. But they don't have Justin Fields. They have Caleb Williams, who has not looked good as a rookie. So, and I also feel like I said this last week. We have a few games against rookies this season, I think. I just feel like when you are up against a rookie, your defensive coordinator got to be licking his chops.
Yeah, absolutely.
Your defensive coordinator better be like, oh, I don't know what the offense is going to do, but we going to eat. There's no way you're trying to tell me you can't trick Caleb Williams into making bad plays.
Yeah, we got just real quick, man. We got Jaden Daniels and the Commanders on the 20th, and Bo Nix, who has looked horrible.
I feel
Bo Nix and the Broncos on the 27th.
If the Panthers lose those games, it should be because of the offense. It better not be because of the defense. It better not be.
Hey, guy, that would be beyond frustrating if that's the case. I agree. Yeah.
I mean, if you're Ezra Avero, I'm like yes, 3 easy wins for my defense. And you do got to get pressure, and that's what the Panthers cannot get pressure. But I don't think you need to get that much pressure on Caleb Williams to make him make a bad play. He's just not there yet. In fact, I think he's worse than Bryce Young was last season as a rookie. So, we'll see. If Caleb Williams goes out there and looks like damn Cam Newton,
I'm just done with this defense after that.
Yeah. All right. Enough about these losers. Next, the other losers. The season ain't even started yet. Ain't even started.
And here we go.
Mark Williams.
Ready.
Mark Williams done.
Already.
Foot injury.
Boy.
So earlier a few weeks ago, I said if LaMelo's ankles are healthy, then or if he can play 70 games, Hornets 4th seed, right? I'm still holding on to that. I said that I got to hold on to that. But damn it,
we ain't gonna get there.
It's gonna be hard without a center. Nick Richards not that guy, and we didn't draft a center, right? So
yeah. You want to know the gut wrenching, Kazi? You want to know the gut wrenching part about this? And listen, and you can correct me if I'm wrong. I'm not trying to put words in your mouth, man. But you did allude to the fact about you were the most vocal about Mark Williams' health, and I think you may have had in mind that you were specifically talking about his back. Maybe not. Correct me if I'm wrong.
I was. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But the gut wrenching part is it ain't even his back that's hurt now. It's his damn foot.
It's a strained tendon. Which see, that's the thing. Those are the worst kind of injuries because
it starts with the strain. It starts with the strain.
Like he broke his foot. I'd be like, well, shit, he just broke his foot. All right, well, that's gonna heal or whatever. But no, them little strains, and the thing is that he cannot, he can't play at all. He can't do anything. He can barely work out with that kind of injury. So he's going to be sitting on the sidelines, getting fatter, not in game shape. And that's actually how players go down the spiral of injuries. You get major injury.
Andrew Bynum, Greg Oden. Yep.
Gordon Hayward. Gordon Hayward, we forget. He was an elite NBA player before he broke his leg, right? And, after that, he was just injury prone because you could never get back in the shape that you were in before. And I think that's how we're at with Mark Williams. I don't have any faith that he's going to.
And this is something I obviously didn't see at the time, but before we got worried about Mark Williams, like the Hornets went out and got another injury-prone center in Harry Giles, and I was just one. I kind of like I was like, why is this happening? Why? I wanted Harry Giles like 4 years ago when he came out of college, but like now I'm like, huh? And come to find out, the Hornets probably knew about Mark Williams and his injury. And then there was some rumor floating around that was unconfirmed at the time. Let me be very clear about somebody seeing Mark Williams walking around in a walking boot. You know what I mean? So all these things made perfect sense up until the point where the Hornets officially announced, Mark Williams is going to miss training camp with the foot strain, man. So
the Hornets need
center.
A starting level NBA center.
Let me call out all you Hornets fans who, oh man, we need to get rid of Nick Richards. No, the hell we don't. No.
We need him.
We need that dude. No. No.
And you know, I remember saying maybe we should look at Zach Edey in the draft, and everyone was like, oh my God.
And then the dude ends up being drafted like 14. Go figure.
I would right now.
In a heartbeat.
I'd take him in
a heartbeat.
Donovan Clingan was right there as well.
Kaza, you're gonna make me stab myself on camera. I swear to God, Kaza, I don't know what I'm gonna do with myself if 5 years from now Donovan Clingan is dominating the damn NBA and we're in the same position.
No. This is the new Hornets, new owners, right? We got Michael Jordan no more, new GM. We got a woman president. We're progressive and we're new. We're the new Hornets.
Whatever. Plum Dog reunion. Oh my God.
Bring it back.
Oh boy.
I just don't know what the Hornets are gonna do. Because I don't. Let's say Mark Williams heals from the strained tendon. I just don't feel like he's not gonna give us more than like 40 games, right?
Yeah.
The Hornets so with this lineup, we got LaMelo Ball, who, by the way, has been wearing ankle braces all offseason. Thank God. I want to know how that conversation went. I bet somebody's saying, look. You see this number here with all them zeros behind it?
That's your check that you get. Bro. Yeah.
Where? So LaMelo Ball has been wearing the braces all in off season, in all off season sessions. He looks good and comfortable shooting in them, and I think that he's gonna have a great season finally. So you got LaMelo Ball. Miles Bridges is back. He's going to want to have to prove something to fans. He's going to prove he's worth his contract. He's going to prove that he's, the 20-point a game guy that he's always been. And then you got Brandon Miller, who incredible rookie season, and we expect him to have a breakout season. There's your core, right?
Yeah.
So now you gotta have a defensive wing or a shooter to shore that up. And you must have a big man. I'm not saying it got to be Bam Adebayo or anybody like that, but it's got to be a guy who can rebound and be in the paint. He's got to be a little better than Nick Richards is. So
I got to ask you about this. I know we got a little bit of time, man, but I got to ask you about kind of this hot take question that I saw online a few days ago, man. It was asking, can LaMelo and Brandon Miller really play together? Because, we obviously didn't see a lot of them playing together last season. Just questions about whose team it really is and can they play together. Let me first, before you answer, Kaza, let me first say this as far as my opinion goes. I think it's a little overstated. LaMelo Ball did not go to Brandon Miller's workout for no reason. You understand what I'm saying? LaMelo Ball wanted Brandon Miller on this team for a reason. So I think the whole "can they play together" thing is kind of BS, quite honestly. I'm very much looking forward to Brandon Miller and LaMelo Ball playing most of the season together. I'll just put it like that. So what do you think about that, man?
No, yeah, Brandon Miller completely complements LaMelo Ball's style of play and what the Hornets are going to scheme around. I don't think there's any question they can play together. Now, the question of like whose team is it? I'll say this: your team must have a leader. And normally that can only be one guy. There has to be a guy who everyone is going to defer to, right? We saw in Minnesota. By the way, the Hornets were a part of that trade. That sent Karl Anthony Towns to the Knicks for Julius Randle and Dante
DiVincenzo.
So, and the Hornets just got some draft compensation and money for that. But we said this on the show. People have been saying that is now Anthony Edwards' team, and you cannot have Cat and Edwards clash. And although they made it to the Western Conference Finals, there was always going to be some tension there. You had to resolve it. I think that it was a great move for the Timberwolves and the Knicks. A lot of people feel like that wasn't a good move for the Knicks because they gave up too much.
Let me say one thing, and I'm only saying this because I know so many Knicks fans. Let me say this. I'm going to laugh so hard the first time Julius Randle takes an ill-advised shot in the fourth quarter that's supposed to be Anthony Edwards.
Hey, Shawty, what's up with that, man? Come on, Shawty.
I'm just gonna leave. I'm gonna leave it at that, man. Yeah. But yeah.
So I would say
to sum that up, somebody needs to make sure they tell Julius Randle this ain't your team, bro. This young man's over here. But go ahead. What you about to say?
No, I was gonna say I think organically the Hornets will find out like who their leader is. It might be LaMelo, it might be Brandon Miller, but I don't think there's gonna be. I think they will enjoy playing together. I think everyone enjoys playing with LaMelo Ball because he's gonna pass you the ball, right?
Right. You gonna get the ball. Yeah.
Right. He might do like a backflip off the backboard. You know what I'm saying? He might do some crazy.
He might take the long way to do it, but
right. But you're gonna get the ball, and I think I will say I've never seen in the last few seasons any bad chemistry with any of the Charlotte Hornets players. Right. I mean, for a little bit of time, it was like, oh my God, did LaMelo and Miles got beef? And that was it, and ended up being they probably just. Probably have the sex party and got confused over who was supposed to, you know what I'm saying? That's all that was.
Big brothers fight, man, especially over women.
Right. So yeah, I don't think there's any,
real beef there.
Brandon Miller will be fine. I think the Hornets are going to have a successful. I know I said earlier I'm going to hate on them all season, but on paper it just looks like they should have a good season, right?
Yeah. I'm also not going to hold my breath because one thing I have known with the Charlotte Hornets from the last two seasons is whatever can go wrong did go wrong, and I just hope that's not the case this season.
Yeah. We don't want a KD Russ issue.
I don't think
we don't have a Russell Westbrook personality on this team.
Yeah.
I don't think. I think that LaMelo Ball is easier to play with than people think. Everyone just really seems to enjoy playing with LaMelo Ball because he brings. You can see it on the floor. It's like a completely different team when LaMelo Ball is on the floor.
It's undeniable. Yeah, I agree.
I will say this: I agree that if it becomes Miller's team, there might be a time where the Hornets have to decide who is our franchise guy, who is that guy,
right?
And if you got to pick.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to make the decision. I'll just leave it at that.
I don't know. It's going to depend on health. That's going to be tough. Hopefully, we don't have to get to that. Hopefully, they do the Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown thing. They coexist and win the championship.
Right.
And yes, I still have PTSD from the Miles Bridges freestyle.
Yeah, same.
He dropped no heat lately, so I think.
Hopefully, that's it for a while at least, man.
Camp about to start. I think, he's fine. Yeah. Hey, first preseason game is next week?
I believe so. Yeah, man.
Next Sunday. Wow.
Came fast, right?
Play the Knicks. Yeah. Play the new look Knicks. Holy crap. Hornets basketball.
Hornets
Real Hornets
basketball.
basketball, not summer league. Real Hornets
Right,
basketball.
right.
Wow. Do you want to make a prediction?
No, not in preseason. You know
Yeah.
me. I don't, man. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
I don't even know who's gonna play and
I
who's not
predict
gonna
that
play.
nobody's gonna play.
Yeah, that's right. That's about it.
So, although I mean, I'd like that. I do feel like there's some value in your starters getting some reps during
Yeah.
preseason, but I'd be shocked if we saw LaMelo. I think we might see Miles play some.
Here's my last thought on the Hornets. I really think the rookie is going to be buried on the bench this season unless
Oh
everybody
yeah,
gets hurt again. So with that being said, I'm going to be like most fans. I'd like to see the young man get real NBA minutes at least in preseason. Inconsequential, record is inconsequential in preseason. So let that, I just want to see what that man can do against real NBA competition at least in the
yeah.
preseason. So that's
We'll see.
really
Also,
about
Charles,
it.
I want to see how Charles Lee coaches an NBA game.
That
You
too.
know,
Yeah.
how he handles, not having Mark Williams out there. I want to see what adjustments he's able to make with our bigs. That's what I'm really curious about that.
Yeah,
So,
no doubt. No doubt.
All right. Well,
Yeah, man.
week. We're back to I can't watch ESPN next week.
Right.
So,
shout out.
Of course, everyone affected in Western North Carolina.
Yeah, no doubt, man.
I mean, first of all, you can't even travel to Tennessee. I-40 simply does not exist anymore due to Hurricane Helene. Chimney Rock is gone. Just gone off the map. Just completely blew it completely off the map. Blowing Rock gone. Asheville underwater.
Yeah.
And, Asheville is kind of became like the hub of artistic expression for North Carolina. Like literally, there are artists that will skip Charlotte and go do shows in Asheville because that's the kind of town it is. So,
Cypress Hill.
Yeah. So, Asheville is a big part of, North Carolina's culture scene. So, shout out to all of the efforts to, help that community rebuild and hopefully, those people are back on their feet here very, very, very soon. There are there's all loss of life for this hurricane from Florida all the way into Ohio. It's just this was bad. We're very lucky in Charlotte that we dodged most of it. I think we had some fallen trees and a lot of us were without power, but man, we dodged a bullet here. So I don't believe in thoughts and prayers. I believe in action. Yeah. So yeah, like if you can give to some of those causes, then give. If you cannot, find some way, see who needs some help, see what you can donate. Just be aware of that situation in Western North Carolina, and yeah,
no doubt. All right, man. Forgive me if my shout outs and shout ats are a little long winded today. First, I want to shout out the Charlotte music scene. It has been a long time coming, man. I cannot believe I'm finally saying this. I think the Charlotte music scene is in a good place right now. I've seen this year I've seen a lot of great shows this year, man. But the last week I saw Herbie Hancock, number one, who is 84 years old, man, and out on tour, and he absolutely killed it on Wednesday night. Standing ovation, crowd didn't want to leave. It was amazing, man. And young people, if you don't know who Herbie Hancock is, legendary jazz musician, legendary. Like a really big deal in the jazz world. The second show I saw was on Thursday, a new group that I just discovered called Infinity Song, who are 4 black kids doing yacht rock music. And that show was, guys, I'm telling you, man, listen, Kaza, hot take. Here's my music hot take. And you're going to look at me like I'm crazy. Yeah, you know how I feel about Boys and Men, right?
Don't say it.
These four people, they harmonize. It reminded me of Take Six and Boys and Men, the way that these four brothers
Wow.
harmonize. It was beautiful. Kaiser, have you ever been to a show and you heard somebody sing and you know they cheating? You know there's a
Oh, right.
background
Yeah.
track in the background. These young kids didn't cheat. Their vocals were raw. You understand what I'm saying? These four kids up there playing guitar, sing 4-part harmonizing. It was incredible, man. Again, this group was called Infinity Song. Amazing on Thursday. Incredible, incredible, incredible. Now, for my shout outs. The Florida State Seminoles. I'm speechless. I don't even know what to say anymore about this goddamn team. I am at a loss for words. If they fired Mike Norvell tomorrow, I would not care. Because whoever's decision it was to bring DJ Ukulele or whatever the hell his name is, they need to be fired. And if that was Mike Norvell's decision, fire this man tomorrow. There is nowhere in the damn universe Florida State should be getting beat 42-16 by SMU in any year. There's nowhere in the universe that should happen. I'm about to start rooting for UNC Charlotte football. I'm close. I'm this close. Hey, enough of them, man.
Hey, don't y'all play Clemson?
Clemson, North Carolina, Duke, somebody else that we're not going to beat. Anyway, I looked at the schedule. I don't see a win on it. I don't see one win on that schedule right now. Anyway, my last shout at. Here's my last shout at for the day. Hornets fans, if I ever hear any of y'all say that Michael Jordan was the worst owner ever, I may come and slap you because it's not true at all. John Fisher, what you have done to the community and the people in Oakland, you should go to jail for what you did to those people. So Thursday, ironically, my job sent us home early because of the threat of, weather, what have you. So I came home and the Oakland A's were playing their last home game in Oakland ever. It was a 12 o'clock start in Oakland and it was sold out. 48,000 people at this 12 o'clock game. Last game in Oakland ever. And they ended up winning the game 3-2, man. Dramatic fashion. J.J. Bleday caught this amazing catch in the outfield to seal the game. But after the game, nobody wanted to leave. The cops literally had to make these people leave out the stadium because these people who have been coming to the stadium for 57 years, let me repeat, 57 years have just out of the blue, not out of the blue, but have been told, hey, the stadium is no more. Your team is no more. There is no more Oakland A's. Kaiser, the post-game studio announcers were crying. Grown men were in the post-game studio crying. Bip Roberts, who played for the Oakland A's a long time ago, was in tears, could barely talk. So I say that to say, man, this sense of community and this pride that the Oakland community have for the A's, I hope Charlotte can get that one day. Look, fans like y'all who join this show, we know what it is, but those fans have a different kind of spirit. It's 57 years of an institution in the city that's going away for really no good reason other than just greed. It's flat out greed. John Fisher, the day he bought the team, knew he never wanted to keep the team in Oakland only because he saw dollar signs in Las Vegas. It is just Rob Manfred, the other owners in MLB, you are all complicit in this. It is one of the biggest shames I have ever seen in sports. I know that sounds hot takey, but it truly is, man. And I know I was long-winded, but I had to talk about it.
No, I mean, yeah, that's in 2019, Oakland had 3 professional sports teams.
And they have 0 now.
0 now.
And they're the 7th largest market in the U.S. So I don't want to hear anything about market. You understand what I'm saying?
2 of those teams completely moved out of the state. The Warriors went across the bridge to San Francisco. but the Raiders moved to Las Vegas, and that's presumably where the A's are going. I think they will play in Sacramento for the next
a
season.
minor league park in Sacramento. Yeah.
And then they moved to Las Vegas. They could have come to Charlotte.
Yeah. Yep.
They could have played Truist.
Ty, you want a quick Charlotte name? Put me on the spot. Not the Athletics. I tell you that. I say that because I wouldn't want to do what New Orleans did with the Hornets and take the damn name and the identity. Honestly, I wouldn't want to do that. So if I had to come up with our own name, I don't know, man. What animal? Charlotte Flight. Charlotte Flight. What the Bobcats are supposed to be called? Call the baseball team the Charlotte Flight. There you go. Yeah, there you go.
Hey, I do got one last shout out.
What up?
I don't know if you guys watched the Colorado UCF game. And yes, Kaiser has been watching college sports. But Colorado UCF game, KJ Jefferson, the starting quarterback for UCF. Oh, but not a little bit of context. Cam Newton was at that game because his old offensive coordinator is the coach for UCF. So Cam Newton was in the stands. And KJ Jefferson scored a very Cam Newton-like touchdown, actually, running the end zone. He's a big guy, right?
Mm-hmm.
Runs to the end zone and does a Superman celebration. The problem was that they were down 3 scores at the time. So what I'm saying is that you don't do the Superman celebration when you are getting blown out by Deion Sanders and his sons. Like, and of course, Colorado ended up winning in a blowout at UCF. But I just thought that was funny watching him do the Superman celebration and y'all down 2 touchdowns to Colorado. Don't do that.
Yeah.
Hey, Carolina Reapers. I like that.
I like the Reapers.
I like that. Yeah. They might say, "Oh, it's too violent."
Well, kind of fits. Let me stop, man. Stop right there.
The Charlotte curse. There you go. Charlotte snake bites.
Charlotte voodoo. They call it that.
All right. That's gonna do it for us this week. Thank y'all for joining us. We love when you guys join the chat. I tell you, whether you agree or disagree with our takes, we just, man, I like this is why we do it.
Tell your friends. Share us. Tell your friends. Also, tell your friends. Go ahead.
If you watch the stream, click like, because what that does is, y'all know how the algorithm works. I don't have to explain this to everyone. Like, click like.
Yep.
And
because Facebook really be hating on us. So
Facebook be hating. YouTube gives us some love.
Yeah, but, Instagram is almost non-existent for us. So please like our stuff, y'all.
So, but we'll see y'all next week. Hopefully me and Jamal be right. We beat the Bears. Playoffs, baby. Playoffs.
Y'all be good and be good.